It's been a while. How is everybody doing? I got one comment last week from Timothy. Thank you, Timothy. He's been sending nice comments. And he asked how my week went. I think since I moved here, I don't know. The past week was kind of weird. I was crying a lot last Wednesday and Thursday after therapy, and same thing, just like, I don't know what to do, and I can't solve this thing. And what made me really sad was I was in therapy last week. The therapist basically asked me to like write down my like aspects of like my personality, like who I think I am, and because we were talking again about like, well, I don't feel like I can connect with people, and why can't I connect with people? Well, it's because I don't feel like I'm being authentic. And then it's like, well, what does it mean to be authentic? And then she was like, what does it mean to be authentic? And I was like, I don't know. And then she's like, okay, let's try to list who you are and figure out who you are or whatever. And then I was like, when I got home, I was like, wait a minute, like, I've done this before. And then I went back in my journals from last year, from 2 years ago, from 3 years ago, and I'd done this like 3 different times. And it made me sad because it was like when I was with Danielle, my ex, like I was still struggling with the same thing of like, I don't think I'm connecting with her enough, and I don't think I'm connecting with my friends enough. And then I'm like, oh my God, like what is this? What is this? What's up? What is this thing? Why why? Why? That was a bad part. And then starting on Friday, I actually had like a good couple days, like the best day since I moved here. Friday, I went to this World Cup watch party in Richmond in like a stadium. And usually it's like, well, I'm going by myself, so I feel bad. But I actually enjoyed it, I think. Got a burrito and sat by myself. And I had the big TV. And we scored 2 goals. We won 2-0 against Australia. And it was cool. I got funnel cake. And then the girl that I met a long time ago, like over a month ago, I think 2 months ago, the video that I did before or after the date that I had with her with coffee and stuff. Kind of out of nowhere, she texted me, and then I think I was like just kind of honest. It was like 2 weeks ago or something, where I was like feeling really bad, and I was like, I'm not feeling very good or something. I'm like, I'm in a funk. Because I don't know what to do, and then she was like, there's this thing called Harborfest. Do you want to go with me and my coworkers? So then I went on Saturday to Harborfest with her and the coworkers, and it went kind of well. This is the positive part, so I won't say any negative thoughts. Obviously, like when I recount that, it's like the immediate thought is always like, well, she just felt sorry for you, man. She invited you because you were crying and complaining and wanted something to do. Then that's like my thought, but I don't really, that thought doesn't really affect me much anymore. I don't know. Looks a little choppy. It's a little choppy. Chop, 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 chop. Yeah, video might be choppy. I don't know. My computer's like that. Testing. Is my mouth moving properly? And the other thing I'm doing is like, I'm trying to do this thing with my parents because I really wanted to do this group therapy thing called interpersonal group therapy. And my idea of it was like, you go to group therapy and you try to talk to someone like me who has trouble connecting and whatever, and then you try to talk to them, and then you figure out like, oh, it's not working, like I don't really like talking to you, and then you can go like, okay, stop, like what's wrong? Why am I afraid to talk to you? Why don't I like talking to you? Why am I uncomfortable? And then figure it out there, because you can't really do that. I can't do that with the therapist. And part of exposure therapy is like trying to do that in the real world, like with my coworkers, but I can't. So I had this idea with my parents where like I can do voice notes and talk kind of like I'm talking here, a little bit naturally and whatever. But when I call them or when I talk to anybody else in the entire world in person, I can't talk like this. So the idea is like, okay, I'm going to send my parents a voice note about a topic, and then later I'll try to do the exact same thing, have the exact same conversation with them, and then see what happens. Like, why can't I talk the same way? That's because that's like all I really feel like I want to do. I don't, and maybe it's not everything. And a year from now, I'll be journaling about like, I can't connect with people. And it's just my thing that like I'm obsessed with because I have a lot of trauma around not having friends. So this is just like my thing that I carry forever. And it's uncurable because nobody seems to know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about it. I don't know. So actually, it was interesting. Like the topic I talked about with my parents was just like why it's hard to talk to them, because I told them like I'm uncomfortable talking to you. I don't feel like I can be like myself, and um, it's hard to talk to anybody. And then they would ask me like, well, what do you mean? Like, why is it hard? And then I would shut down and I wouldn't know what to say. And then I was like, okay, I'll just do a voice note because I know I can talk about it for 10 minutes to them in a voice note. And I picked a hard topic. I'm like, I'm going to try to talk about the hardest, weirdest thing to talk about with my parents. That'll prove that, like, even if it's like a hard, weird thing to do, I can do it in a voice note, but I can't do it when I'm on the phone with you. I can't even like talk to you about the weather when I'm on the phone. I'm like, well, I don't know, well, the weather, and I don't say anything. So, what I told them was like, they're super religious. They're like good people, and they are not bad religious, but I know they're kind of like iffy on like gay stuff and trans stuff, and so I've never really like talked to them about it. Um, I guess I don't know exactly how they feel, but I wouldn't want to talk about it because it makes me uncomfortable to talk to them. But I told them an analogy of like how I'm feeling is I was listening to this podcast like 6 months ago about this. Um, it was a boy who was like the story was kind of told through the mom's perspective about like I have this boy and he's becoming a teenager and then he completely shut off from me. He's not talking to me. He's like self-harming and I didn't know what to do. And then like a couple years later he's doing really bad. Therapy's not working. And then they had like a talk about like, well, like, do you want to grow your hair longer and get your ears pierced? And then she did that and then she was happy. Um, and like started talking again and felt like herself. And then they interviewed the girl and she was like, oh, I feel like myself now and I didn't feel like myself before and I didn't want to talk to anybody and I wasn't comfortable. And I was like, that's how I kind of feel. But like, I kind of feel like a I'm a talkative person. That's how I felt my whole life. Like I'm supposed to be talking. I want to be talking to people all the time. But then I get around people and I don't talk. So that was like the summary of what like at my 10-minute voice note with my parents. And so now today I'm going to try to call them and talk about the same thing and then see what happens. I know I'm not going to be able to do it, but then I can be like, okay, why? Like we specifically know like it's all in my head And then we could just say like, okay, why is it not working right now? Why can't I tell you the same story about the kid? So yeah, I don't know. That's it for this week. Didn't really feel like I talked great today, but whatever. Overall, I'm resistant to say that I'm feeling better because it still feels like I haven't solved anything. Um, but this is always just me reflecting on the week and being like, well, okay, you were happy on Friday, but you didn't solve your problem. But when I'm in the moment on Friday, I mean, I have thoughts of like, well, I'm by myself and I don't know. Like, I don't know. I want to talk to people. I want to be around people and I want people to like me or whatever when I'm at the soccer game. And that's not happening. And I have like, it's probably a baseline bothering depression thing. I enjoyed it as much as anything else in the past year going to that soccer game. So that was good. And I enjoyed the Harbor Fest and um, there was one moment that I was thinking about that made me happy that's worth like mentioning, which is we were like looking at the ships and everything and um, the girl that I went on the date with was there and she was like with her friends and more comfortable and like smiling and being happier and stuff and there was a moment where she like did this awkward smile at me when like I was down looking at something on the ship. I don't know how to explain it, but um, then I did like an awkward smile back. I was like, "Eh, I like this." That's what she did. I don't know what it was about that, but it made me feel like nice. So that was good. And that's it. Yeah. Okay. Tell me how you're doing. How's your week, Timothy? Timbo? Anybody else is watching and wants to talk to me? I'm here. I didn't respond to Tim's comment yet. Oops, but I gotta do that. Um, yeah, thanks. Hope everybody's okay. Nobody's depressed. I give you the smile. Smile later.